Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll.
Liam Kassoon. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Jean Francois.
Absent.
Sid. Here. Witt.
Oh, here. I didn't.
Kleiner.
Here.
Burr.
Here.
Massey.
Here.
President Rodriguez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Approval of minutes.
We have minutes from May 2nd and also May 22nd.
Motion to approve both minutes. Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence.
We have 25 Mills Avenue requesting a block party to be held on August 26th.
Forward to DPW Committee.
We have a letter from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation regarding the plant score of the City of Middletown wastewater treatment plant.
Received and filed.
We have a letter from Village of Portchester regarding Mr. Adam McCary on the class that he gave on his professionalism.
Received and filed.
That's it for correspondence.
For the good of the city, if anyone would like to address this council, please step forward. You will have 4 minutes.
I would like to take a few moments and thank our council members, both the Republicans and the Democrats, because it takes tremendous courage to step up and try to do the right thing and run for office. It's hard, but more people should try to run for office. In that sense, every single one of you have tremendous courage for taking on the burden of social woes. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Shannon Wan, the director of the Lower Hudson Valley Civil Liberties Union, for assuring me that my freedom of speech will not be denied by the council. I just think that as a citizen of the greatest country in the world's history, that we should demand the economy work for all of us, not just the top 1%. We, the renters and landowners, are suffering from the high rent due to the high property taxes we have to pay. Waste is sick, and people are sick and tired of establishment politics, and we want real change. How would the Democrats react if the Republicans asked for the mayor's tax returns? Seriously, regardless, median income is $4,000 less than 1999, yet financial penalties and fees keep rising up. When will enough be enough? No one can have everything, but the bottom line is the economy is rigged, and what I'm about is creating a system that works for all of us. Big businesses should pay their fair share. Our president said that not paying taxes makes him smart. So what does that make us? As a city, we have to stop giving out tax breaks to big businesses and focus on people instead. We need paid maternity leave now, not tomorrow. We need a free kindergarten for low-income working residents, not this lottery system we now have in place. We, as a city, have to work with our school board instead of dragging them to court, which is extremely wasteful and pathetic. Imagine all the good we could accomplish if we put aside our personal differences and work with our Board of Ed. I wish there was a single person we could blame for all the world's trouble, but the noble truth is that every single one of us is to blame, whether it be apathy or ignorance. I know in some level you can feel the truth from my words, so come out and vote, please, humbly. A vote for me is a vote against CPV,
Not
and I
supposed to
wish...
come up to the council and do any kind of campaigning on the council floor. This is for the good of the city, address the
I'm
council.
talking about air quality control in when I worked in Revere, which is by Middletown. You know, I wish I was allowed to say the things I've seen when I worked there, but I am allowed to say that the money was amazing and the union was great. But who will step up when the EPA is stepping down? I don't think the union will be able to step up because I just doubt it. But clean air and clean food is a right we can afford. And finally, as a child of an NYPD officer, I was taught to always do the right thing, even when you're a minority of one. To our police, who protects the protectors? Seriously, just look at the deal Middletown made with our firefighters. You know, hold off, because if you're risking your life on us, then we should take care of your health, plain and simple. Yet we had more land and courthouses to the city. Let's manage what we have here. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to address the council? Okay, remarks of department heads. Police chief, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. I only have a few issues for you this evening. Safe Summer Initiative, or for the first ward, is tomorrow at Sproat Street Park, where the public will be able to address the alderman from that ward, along with myself, Common Council President, Mayor, and various department heads. To the public, please come out and join us. We will do our best to address any concerns that you have and lay out our plans for what we're doing during the summer. We've been having an issue with ATVs and dirt bikes, and this message goes out to the parents who may have provided these to their children. We're starting to come into a very dangerous situation where my officers are chasing these ATVs on the street. For your knowledge, ATVs and dirt bikes are not permitted on the roadway by New York State law. But my fear is that someone's going to get hurt eventually. So to the parents out there, please do your best to make sure that your child is not operating these vehicles on the roadway. It's creating a hazardous and dangerous situation, not only for them, my officers, but also our residents who are not involved in these situations. While I was away, the department addressed fireworks in the city, and this message goes out to the public again. We're going to be very stringent and diligent in our efforts to address fireworks, and it's going to be a no-nonsense approach. So we're going to be giving out tickets and making arrests where appropriate. And lastly, I'm sorry, not lastly, I received notification from my Bureau Commander, Lieutenant Matakis, that he will be retiring effective June 30th. Am I correct on the
29th.
29th, I'm sorry, 29th. His last day, next Thursday, we will be having a luncheon for him at the department. And at the end of the business day, we will have our ceremonial walkout. And all of you are invited to attend along with the public and anyone who has worked and is familiar with Lieutenant Matakis. And lastly, I'd like to thank the family of Police Officer Yannick. You have a resolution to accept a donation from the Yannick family. Remember, Mr. Yannick was a police officer in the city of Middletown that passed. The donation is in the amount of $1,000, and we're going to use that to adopt families in need, our second annual Families in Need program, where we buy items for our youth in need in the community during the holiday season. That's all I have for you this evening. If you have any questions.
Massey?
Chief, would you just tell the people what time? I know it's at Sproat Street tomorrow, but
I'm
would
sorry.
you give them the time, please?
It's 5 p.m. to 7:30, and that time is for people who can't normally make it to City Hall to address the issues and concerns in their neighborhood. Thank you, Mr.
And then
Massey.
subsequently, you're going to have the other 3 wards.
Yes, and you can check the city's website and our website for information on the Safe Summer Initiative, which will be every Wednesday, successive Wednesday per ward. And you can check the time. The time is the same, but the locations obviously are different. You can check the city's website and the police department's website for the Safe Summer Initiative in your ward. Thank you, Mr. Massey.
You're welcome, Chief.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief. Economic Development?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, you have a resolution of a donation of $5,000 from ShopRite Supermarkets, and that will be going towards our annual Stars and Stripes celebration, which will begin next week. So next Friday, we kick off with Jimmy Sturr and his orchestra downtown in Festival Square at 7 p.m. Then Saturday, July 1st at Fancher Davidge Park. We start the day with Party in the Park hosted by the Recreation Department at 4 o'clock, and then followed by live entertainment at 7 and fireworks at dark. And then we wrap up our Stars and Stripes celebration on Thursday, July 6th, with the United States Army Field Band and Soldiers Chorus at the Paramount Theater at 7 o'clock. These are all free events. Please check our websites, middletownbid.org, cityofmiddletownny.com, middletownparamount.com. Come out for these exciting events, and we hope to see everybody to celebrate our nation's birthday next weekend. That's all I have for this evening.
Much for Maria.
Thank you.
Maria. DPW Commissioner?
Good evening, all. I want to start with a reminder for the public. This Saturday, we're going to have the electronic drop-off. I'm sure Alderman Kleiner will be talking about it to remind people again. But computers, TVs, printers, this kind of thing, all electronics, we're going to be accepting them at the DPW garage on Manhagan Avenue, and starting 8 o'clock until 3 o'clock. Maximum 4 units per household, please. Also, I'm going to just update you very quickly about our infrastructure projects and what we've been working on. DPW has completed the soil remediation, which is basically the foundation, the soil under the skate park, and the contractor has started working on it. Milling and paving, it's going to be starting, the program is going to be starting in July 6. All the list of the streets that will be milled and paved, they are on our website, so please check them out and bear with us when we are doing your street or bypass, blocking traffic, and allow us to finish the operation so you can have nice streets for many, many years to come. So just bear with us. It's a little bit painful, but this year we're doing almost $1 million of milling and paving. It's a huge amount of money, a huge amount. The project is huge, and again, bear with us, please. It's going to be a little bit inconvenient. We're going to try our best to minimize any inconvenience, but bear with us and continue to check our website for updates, please. Also, on Monday we had our EPA comprehensive audit of our wastewater treatment plant and wastewater collection system, and we hope that we're doing okay, and we're going to be in good shape there. Just a reminder to the councilmen and to the public that when the MS4 program was audited in Middletown, EPA has mentioned that they audited 24 communities over 5 years. 23 of them got fines, violations, or consent orders, except for one community, and that did not receive anything. And they passed the audit. And the mayor wants to know which community it was. It was the city of Middletown. That's 5 years of EPA auditing MS4 programs and files and all that. It was really comprehensive. They sat here with us for a week, the EPA officers, going through our data and files, and well, obviously we're bragging, but we're very proud of it and we're happy about it. Now, I'll continue with the infrastructure projects. Very important project to the mayor and to the council is Woolworth Building. We're trying to finalize the insurance with the architect and the contractors, and so that the contract signing will take place. It has been authorized and it's going to go through, and probably the mayor will talk about its funding later. It's a great project for that location, and we're all very excited about it, and hopefully it will come through. And to be fair, that idea of that building, again, I just want to repeat it, it came from the mayor by creating a shopping center and for the Heritage Trail to go right through it. While the city was debating to take down that building, he came out with that idea, which is going to be wonderful for that location. The black dirt sewer, we had lots of problems with that black dirt sewer in there, and we had several blockages in there, and our guys worked continuously, basically, to try to repair and replace pieces of that black dirt sewer. Now, finally, the black dirt sewer, it's about $3 million worth of work, has been, we had one last sheet of comments from EFC, and we're going to start, hopefully we're going to go out for bid within a month, and that's going to be a major project. Just a reminder, this is the sewer line that starts from the new school, Presidential Heights School, the old Chorley School. So that's going to be, it's going to be a very important project for us. It's going to help us substantially with I&I. It's going to help us substantially with blockages and overflows. And we're looking forward to that. Obviously, yesterday we had a flash flood in there because we had over 2 inches of rain in just over 3 hours. And that was a classic definition of flash flood, how water comes in, just sheet float, floods everything. It doesn't have enough time in there for it to get into the catch basins or where it's supposed to go, so it concentrates in the low areas in there and causes flooding. The mayor will be addressing our ongoing drainage projects, which we have a huge amount of them, so they'll be forthcoming. Now, we're talking about retirement. I want to congratulate Lieutenant Matakis on his 30 years of service for the city of Middletown. And with that, I want to add that our Deputy Commissioner, Doug Hendrickson, he'll be retiring at the end of this month as well. Just, running away from the milling and paving. Just before the milling and paving, he had enough. So, Doug, these deputy commissioners and upper management within DPW, you talk to them more than you talk to your family members, and he'll be greatly missed, Doug. He really, he was out there, whatever it takes, whenever you call him, whenever he calls me, he's always out there trying to do his very best for the city of Middletown and its residents. I'm very proud that he's been part of our team. I will really, really miss Doug. He's a faithful person to the city, and he did his very best to be of service to the taxpayers of the city of Middletown. Very proud of him, and I wish him the very best, and I hope he will enjoy his retirement. Talking about retirements, also our chief operator at the sewage treatment plant, Ben Bruni, will be retiring as well in a couple of months. So Ben has been my right-hand man in the wastewater treatment plant, relied on him for many years. I've known him since I used to be a consultant, worked with him as an engineer, and he was the chief operator, and worked with him when I became a commissioner of public works, and he was a tremendous asset, somebody you can rely on. He will do whatever it takes to get the job done. Again, very proud of him being of service to the city of Middletown. He's retiring after 30 years working for the city of Middletown. Ben will be missed. The chief operator will be taking his place, will be starting in July 3rd, which is next month. And he'll be working with Ben, alongside Ben, for a couple of months before Ben retires and leaves us. His name is Pat Rowley. The mayor and myself, we interviewed him, and he's going to be a great addition to our team at the wastewater treatment plant, and we look forward. He's a local person. He lives right here in the city of Middletown. We've known him, all of us. We've known him for many, many years. He's a solid person, and we look forward to him joining our team. With that, I will stop right now. If you have any questions for me.
Any question?
I do,
Alderman
Jake.
Massey.
Would you just explain, we have a motion tonight from the floor for the cost-saving agreement with Orange and Rockland. Would you just explain that?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, with our operation, with the $1 million of paving in there, part of the $1 million, about $261,000 approximately, it will be paid to us by Orange and Rockland, because part of our paving program for this year is to go mill and pave large quantity of the roads that Orange and Rockland disturbed. So rather than us ending up with a small narrow trench in there that will keep settling and will keep peeling off and so on and so forth, Orange and Rockland, and it was very kind to work with us, and they will be paying us this money so that we'll take over the milling and paving of their section of the road. And Alderman Massey and Council President, they were gracious enough to accept to have a special resolution from the floor tonight because we need this agreement signed before we start the work in July 6. And for us to start milling their work, we need an approval from you, the honorable council members in there, to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement between us and Orange and Rockland. So,
Thank you.
Anyone
thank
else?
you so much.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Corporation Counsel?
Good evening. I just want to reiterate what I stated at the committee meeting prior to the council, because since it's televised, the public can now know about it. In connection with the DRI and the report that was given to the state and the approval of the various projects, one of the things that our planners suggested was to have a cohesive zoning district for just the downtown area. And we've been in a moratorium while we've been crafting that. Well, on your desks tonight is that new proposed downtown mixed-use zoning district. Karen has a copy, and I'm sure it's going to go on the city website within a matter of a day or two. And I know there's going to be a motion from the floor tonight to schedule a public hearing for the next meeting on July 3rd. And certainly, if you have any questions about it, let me know. But we try to incorporate not only what's going on now, but what we project to go on down in the downtown area, particularly following the recommendations of our planners and the entire DRI report. So that's all I have for tonight.
Anyone else? Any questions? Thank you, Richard. Okay, public hearings and grievances.
Public hearing tonight for proposed office and apartments at 12 Washington Street. Notice is hereby given that the City of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, June 20th, on or near to 8 p.m. as possible, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on an appeal of the bid moratorium for a proposed office and apartments at 12 Washington Street, Section 35, Block 4, Section 4. Any and all persons wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed special use permit and site plan approval. Full plans are available in the office of the Common Council Clerk, Room 12. By the order of the Common Council, John C. Numcheck, Clerk of the Common Council. This was published in the Times-Herald Record on June 12th and 13th and the city website.
Okay, at this time, the public hearing is now open. Do we have anybody from representing 12 Washington Street? Good evening.
Yes, my name is Jillian Yi. I'm representing 12 Washington Street for a friend of mine. She is in Washington, therefore she cannot come at this time. If you want me, I can briefly describe the project.
Do you have the mailings first?
Yes.
You have them? Okay. All right, go ahead. Give me a summary.
All right, yeah, so I'll just give a very quick description about the project. Basically, the project plan has been approved by the planning board previously, and the proposal is to have an office in the front of the first floor and have a residential apartment in the back of the first floor as it used to be, and the second floor will maintain to be a commercial space. That's about it.
Any questions from the public? Any questions or comments from the council? Do I have a motion to close? Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Rankine-Sum. All in favor? Aye. Public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Public hearing for proposed physical therapy and wellness practice at 63-67 North Street. Notice is hereby given that the City of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, June 20th, on or near to 8 p.m. as possible, Common Council chambers, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on an appeal of the bid moratorium for a proposed physical therapy and wellness practice at 63-67 North Street, Section 31, Block 7, Section 1. Any and all persons wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed special use permit and site plan approval. Full plans are available in the office of the Common Council Clerk, Room 12. By the order of the Common Council, John C. Numcheck, Clerk of the Common Council. And this was published in the Times-Herald Record, June 12th and 13th, and on our city website.
Okay, at this time, the public hearing is now open. The we have anybody representing 63 North Street?
Hi, my name is Noreen Shimkus. I'm a physical therapist, and my proposal is to open up my private practice, physical therapy practice.
You have the mailings?
The mailing has been turned in, yes.
Okay. Can we get a brief summary?
And the practice will be at 65 entrance, 65 North Street. And the summary of the practice, I will be the sole practitioner there. 75 to 90, 100% of the time, one person will be in the clinic at a time, receiving service directly from me. The focus, the environment that I am proposing to develop in there will be very much of a healing and a rejuvenating environment. It will be aesthetically pleasing. It will be a peaceful environment, and yet it will be energetic when it needs to be energetic for someone's exercise program. I do a lot of hands-on work. I do myofascial release. I do a lot of hands-on, very, very directed at the person's specific problem. It's very focused. I do a very thorough evaluation. It will be a fee-for-service program, so people can come in the state of New York, as in many states. A physical therapist can have direct access. A person can come in with or without a physician's prescription at that time, and they can be seen for up to 10 visits or for 30 days, whichever comes sooner. At that point, the person's not finished with their treatment, they can pursue, further treatment I need to contact their physician. I'm happy to work with people and provide all the documentation they need to submit to their insurance. My fee will be very reasonable, much more reasonable than it can be when I have to spend my time on all of the hoops for billing. This is becoming more common in my profession, this fee-for-service system, because it allows expert practitioners that really have something to offer, really have something, expertise in certain areas. They can get the business they want because they can get the people who are looking to really get better fast. I want my access for my services to be prompt, efficient, and simple. So people can come in off the street if I have an opening that day, if I have an opening at that moment, or if I have an opening later the next day, they can come in, see me, have their evaluation, and I'll give them a summary of what I think they need, and I will start the treatment with that evaluation. I'm looking to be very much a part of the community. Whatever's going on in downtown, I want to be a part of that. I want to fit in with the community. I'm interested in all of the things that I'm hearing tonight and that I heard in the past, and I'm here to really help build up the atmosphere in the downtown community.
Awesome.
And the service I'm offering, obviously I'm not selling a particular product or a type of food. One of the reasons I'm at this point, I've been a therapist for 22 years. I'm a New York native, and it's been my patients over the years that have pushed me, and they said, you should open your own practice, you should open your own practice. And even when I put that on the back burner, and they didn't even know it was on my agenda at some point in the future, they're the ones that with great fervor said, you have what it takes to have your own practice. So that's a big part of why I'm here tonight.
Thank you. Anyone from the public have any comments or concerns? Any questions from the council? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing? Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Burr. All in favor? Aye. Aye, thank you.
Third applicant is on their way to the third public hearing, so if you could hold off. They just notified us that they're stuck somewhere, but they're on their way, so you could hold off before allow them time to get here.
All right, we'll skip to mayor remarks. Just don't talk too long.
Funny guy. I want to begin by congratulating the three retirees, Lieutenant Matakis, Doug Hendrickson, and Ben Bruning, for many, many years of service, especially the two that worked with Jacob. I mean, that's that's really an impressive run. All three excellent employees over the years of the city, and we thank them for their many, many years of service. Some other just basic stuff that I wanted to get out of the way first. The fire contract was ratified by the union, I believe, either 22 or 23 to 1. 22 to 1, That contract will go into effect. We're very happy with the settlement, and obviously by the vote that they had, they're also very happy. One thing on the electronic pickup, we did have 2 calls, and some elderly people want to know if there will be anyone at the facility to assist them in removing the TVs, and we will. We'll have city crews will be there. If you're able to do it yourself, they're not there to do that, but they're there to assist the elderly or those who have a physically incapable of doing it. So if that's your concern, please feel free to ask for assistance when you get to the drop-off center. We are having a DRI meeting this week with the state of New York to finally get to the drawdown of the cash and how we pulled the money, the $9.7 million, for the specific projects. They'll go further detail with the plan, and I will then brief the council after that meeting on the plans. Obviously, the Woolworths project is the first one to go. That project is already out to bid. The bids have been accepted, and we're waiting for the final contracts to be verified and the appropriate insurances to be put in place. But the Woolworths project and the Orchard Street parking lot will be the first project that will be undertaken. And we're utilizing the services of Pattern for Progress through the contract that you signed with us, or we signed with them for their services. They're assisting in the creation of a template for following the project so that we meet all the government standards that are required by the state. But we had a long meeting with Maria Bruni, our Economic Development Director, and her assistant Caitlin, along with Joe Troika from Patterns, and we think we're in a very good position to implement the grant as soon as we can start drawing money. You're going to be voting on $83,000 for a design of dam improvements. This is a part of increased standards by the state of New York. The dams are not in jeopardy. We did have one person email me and say, why, what's the big deal? Is there something going to happen with the dams? No. The standards changed, and apparently rightfully so. So what we did was we hired a company to do the review, which is required now, I believe, every 2 or 3 years, Jacob? Yeah. So, and to make sure we meet the new design standards. So this project, this design is only $83,000. This is for 2 of the dams on Chewonga Lake. The total project will probably be in the area of $750,000 just for these 2 dams. So when people ask where their tax money is going, this is one of the areas that locally we're responsible for. We have to make sure the dams are in good shape and don't present a danger to anyone downstream. So I believe we have a couple more to go on the other lakes, and so we'll be coming back to you for more money on the other lakes. To Jacob, congratulations on the EPA. Did anyone else wonder who the one community was that he was talking about? And to touch on what happened yesterday, we did have a horrible storm, and Jacob talked about the flash flooding, and we were out doing assessments, watching. City crews were out pumping basements and assisting people with whatever issues they had in their neighborhoods. One area, a few areas, did have some flooding again. One was West Main Street, the backyards. We had to close Wisner Avenue. We closed Aspen, County Route 78 by Aspen. But in the case of Aspen, the flood diversion wall that we put up after Irene did work once again. So if that wall was not in place, Aspen would have been flooded out once again. So that worked. So that, one of the infrastructure repairs that we made after Irene and Lee certainly did work. We also were checking out the flow of the streams, like the Monhegan Brook. And the brooks were not overflowing, at least from the sections that I saw, and I think Jacob, when we were up at Maple Hill Park together. A lot of the flooding in the backyard flooding happened because of the flash flooding, 2 inches of rain in 3 hours. and it was mostly surface water going to low points. So the infrastructure repairs that we've made to date are working. The brook did not back up under Monhegan Ave, under Fulton Street. It freely flowed through Fulton. As you recall, during the last Irene and Lee, they did clog underneath Fulton Street and did back up all the way and created like a river-like atmosphere. We did have some streets that had a couple of inches of water running down them. Sterling Street did have a slight discharge, but not as bad as it's been in the past. But we have two other projects that are very close to going under construction. One is the New York Rising project, which is a $3.5 million project. It will take the completion of the Fulton Street from Academy, basically, or Monhegan, the Monhegan Brook, through Genung Street. One of the options, you've had some people here that have come to the meeting. I know Jude and Vanessa had a concern about the daylighting of the brook. And of course, that's one of the options that the engineers are looking at. This is federal money. They're trying to prevent flooding in the future. No decision has been made. A company called NV5 out of engineering was the selected engineer on the project. Their design is ready, or just about ready to go. And we're hoping that within the next couple months that we can begin construction on what their recommendations will be. But that will be about a $3.5 million project that we secured grants under the New York Rising program. If you recall, Wallkill also received a $3 million grant, and then each of us received an additional $500,000. We also had problems over in Wilson Street a little bit with the Miamisburg project. Myself, Alderwoman Sid, Alderman Drew Jean-Francois, and Council President Miguel Rodriguez, along with Jacob, we met a group of neighbors on Wilson Street, and there was some flooding in the backyards in the low areas of maybe 2 or 3 of the homes that were there. The homeowners did admit that they've had flooding there in the past, and we also had the engineer from Miamisburg there. And the response I got today from the property owners is they were happy with the response and the engineering that's been done and the additional work that's going to be done there to mitigate some of the problems that they've had historically in that area. The engineering plans call for people who live in that area that, excuse me, that are not familiar, that weren't at the meeting, will be a 20% reduction in storm runoff down to the Wilson Street area. So Anthony Street is going to be extended by about 1,000 feet. There's going to be an additional retention pond put in there. So there's going to be 3 retention ponds on the property, and the landscaping, of course, will be done as the project moves forward also. But I think at the end game, the neighbors felt much better. The developer agreed to raise some of the lawns in the backyards of the two or three low areas that are there, and they appear to be very pleased. And yesterday was a good test. They were all very happy that it downpoured on the day we were coming, so we could see it firsthand. And but the end result was that we did get an opportunity to see firsthand what they're experiencing for many, many years. And that for those of you who lived in Middletown your entire life, like myself and Mr. Massey and some others, we recall what that was. It's a low area that was drained, and house and homes were built. So we do have some drainage pipes that goes through. It goes into the brick pond, the old brick pond area, and it goes out. The developer has also put up some additional money, I believe, for us to look further downstream, or has agreed to do that, and we'll continue to do so to make sure that we meet those goals of 20% less runoff into the Bears Drive, Wilson Street, Beth Place area. So I hope the homeowners there feel a little bit better after our meeting. We were also out in Hampshire. Mr. Couch is here. I know they had a little bit of a river and a lot of runoff into their yards also. We're going to continue to monitor that construction site as well. We did meet earlier in the week and were able to remove a group of trees. The developer agreed to remove some trees from the private property in order to make the project more palatable for some of the neighbors there. And those were removed at their request. And hopefully, as the project moves forward, we'll be able to address their drainage issues also. And finally, the West Main Street and the HUD issue, which Alderwoman Ram-Kasoon and Alderman Johnson call me constantly on. And we try to give them the best and updated information, and we're going to give that to the public as well. This is a $2.7 million project funded by HUD. It's been a long process. I know it was announced probably a couple years ago at least, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But we're dealing with the federal government, folks, and we're in a position where if we want the project done, we have to go through every hurdle that they put in front of us. On the city side, we have submitted the NEPA application, which about a week or so ago we were giving, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were giving the order to proceed by Orange County Community Development, which is the agency that the funding is coming through. We have submitted all the NEPA documents, which are the federal equivalent to SECRA. We were notified again this afternoon that they're requesting a little bit more documentation, so we're getting this close to finally closing the deal. It will also build a retention pond, an additional retention pond at Maple Hill. We'll do some additional piping into the Monhegan Brook, and should have a very, after $2.7 million, better have a very positive effect on West Main Street and the drainage and the flooding problems that they have. All I can do is apologize to the people there. I know you've been very inconvenienced over the last few years, but we've said it before that help is on the way, and it is, and we appreciate your patience and your understanding, and and also acknowledge your frustration with the process. But the city has moved as fast as we possibly can. We have instructed our engineer, Clark Patterson Lee, on this to make sure they furnish the county and the federal government with whatever documents they've requested today, immediately, so that we then can go to contract and put this project out to bid. The goal is to get this project out again and completed, hopefully, by the end of the year. So that's my report for this evening. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to address them.
Any questions for the mayor? Alderman Burr.
Mayor, can you just state on the TV pickup that it's Middletown residents only?
Yes, very important, Middletown residents only, limit of 4 items. I did speak, and we did have also a couple inquiries about our window air conditioners. And although they're not part of the program, we will also accept window air conditioners for people to be able to get rid of them because they have the Freon or whatever is in them. So, but it's 4 items only, Middletown residents only. Last year it cost us $9,000. So we're not the capture dispersal agency of the county. Any other questions? Thank you.
Mayor? Okay, public hearings and grievances.
Public hearing for proposed ice cream shop with food for 42 West Main Street. Notice is hereby given that the City of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, June 20th, on or near to 8 p.m. as possible, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on an appeal of the bid moratorium for proposed ice cream and food shop at 42 West Main Street, Section 35, Block 2, Section 2. Any and all persons wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed special use permit and site plan approval. Full plans are available in the office of the Common Council Clerk, Room 12. By the order of the Common Council, John C. Numcheck, Clerk of the Common Council. This was published in the Times-Herald Record on June 12th and 13th in our city website.
Okay, at this time, the public hearing is now open. We have a representative from 42 West Main Street. Evening, you have your mailings?
Yes, Richard Peterson, the Pelleteria and Coffee Shop, 42 West Main Street.
that's fine. Can you just give us a brief of your establishment that you're proposing?
Yes, we're proposing a ice cream, popsicle, and coffee shop at 42 West Main Street. The objective is to bring authentic Latin culture to the historic business district in Middletown through not only retailing delicious homemade Latin treats and food items, but also through the design and atmosphere of its facility. It intends on achieving the objective through accomplishing multiple goals, including retailing homemade ice cream, Latin popsicles, retailing authentic Latin coffee, retailing a selection of baked goods sourced from local bakeries, and also retailing a selection of bottled canned beverages from Latin brands, creating a family-friendly environment that accentuates the Latin culture through photographs, artwork, decor, building materials, and Latin-inspired design notes in the construction and decoration of the facility. Facelift the exterior of the storefront of the building to mimic the look and feel of traditional small businesses found in many historic Latin urban retail centers.
Okay, at this time, anyone from the public have any comments or questions? Okay, anybody from the council? Got a motion to close. Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Consoom. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Public hearing is now closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, remarks of Alderman. Alderman Massey.
I'd like to thank and congratulate the three retirees. Thank you for your service. I know Greg and Ben put 30 years in, and Doug, working for Jacob, probably thinks he put 30 years in. Couldn't help it, Jacob, had it. I owed you one. And the only other thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tommy because he doesn't get to talk about the first word because I'm usually the first one that speaks. We just had 3 public hearings, and for anyone that's watching, I know that you may be thinking, why aren't there any questions from the council? And the reason there aren't any questions from the council is that all 3 applicants and all the applicants, they've been before us before. They've given their presentation. We've given our input and at a committee meeting. So when it comes now, we've had all the input we wanted. They've gotten back to us, and this is just dressing it up and passing it. Hopefully, the resolutions will come later on. But I just didn't want the public to think, wow, they just come before them, and the 9 of them or 8 of them tonight, because Jude's not here, just sit there and they don't say anything. We've had the question and answer. They've gotten back to us, and I just wanted you to understand the process. Thank you.
Alderman Burr?
Thank you. On the Safe City tomorrow, we really appreciate you come out. It's a great opportunity to speak one-on-one with all our department heads, me and Alderman Massey. And tomorrow night, me and Alderman Massey are going to put on refreshments for our constituents, if anybody wants to stop by.
At a cost.
So, and then I would like to recognize, I went to a fire police Orange County dinner on last Wednesday. They recognized my father-in-law for his services for over 60 years in the community in Middletown, so I appreciate that. And then Doug, Greg, and Ben, all great people. Wish them the best in whatever they're going to do in the future. I hear Ben might want to work for me anyway. Thank you.
Alderman Consoom?
Good evening. First, I'd like to wish a happy retirement to Lieutenant Matakis, Doug Hendrickson, and Ben Bruni. At least what I know of what Doug's been doing for you, Jacob, I know he's going to enjoy his retirement, so you don't have to wonder. I'm grateful to all of them for their commitment. I don't mean to throw shade at you, Jacob. It's just, I know we keep him busy. I know I keep him busy. So my thanks to all of them. Tonight we have a resolution to accept donations for the Neighborhood Watch once again, $1,250 tonight, which will go towards the National Night Out Against Crime. I just want to thank again our local business community for always stepping up to support our community and all the events we hold. In that vein, I'd just like to say thank you as well to ShopRite for always being our partner here in Middletown, whether it's the Stars and Stripes weekend or cleanups and just about everything else we call on them to do. Yesterday, we experienced quite a storm. dumped a lot of water in a very short time frame. Our systems are pretty overwhelmed. I was actually out and about through most of the third ward at around 3:30, and it was a little unnerving. You could definitely tell that, our systems were overwhelmed by what was going on, but happy to say that an hour later, the water had pretty much receded. A lot of people experienced damage. I know that, especially a number of areas in the third ward particularly. I just want to thank the mayor for his update tonight on West Main, and for so doggedly pursuing this issue for the past 6 years. It's been a long, long process since Irene, which is about the time that I got involved with the water mitigation in that area. And I just want to say thank you. It doesn't seem like there's a lot going on the surface, but there's been a lot of follow-up on the mayor and the departments here to try to get this to come to fruition. So hopefully we will see this happen this year. That's my hope. That being said, I think that's everything I have to cover. This weekend, our pools open up here in Middletown, so summer starts. I just want to wish everyone a safe and happy summer, and enjoy themselves and be safe, and have a good holiday. Thank you.
Alderman Johnson.
Thank you. I also want to echo with Alderwoman Ram-Kasoon. Any forecast that includes the word flood watch gets our attention and our anxiety up. I would agree. I think the third ward did a little bit better than we have in the past. I also want to thank all the administrators for their due diligence. You can't look at the water and make it go away faster, but it does help our residents to know that we're aware, that we're sympathetic, and that we're doing the best we can. And the retention pond in Maple Hill will be a big step forward for that area on West Main. Also, I want to thank all of our retirees to take 30 years of your life and devote it to one particular municipality and public service. It's remarkable, and we want to thank them all for that. I also want to let everybody know I will be out of town. I will miss our meeting on the 3rd of July. I will miss Stars and Stripes. I will miss Safe Summer, and I'll be there in spirit. Thank you very much.
Alderman Witt.
Thank you very much. The first thing I'd like to do is correct something that was said at the microphone earlier this evening. There is no lottery to enroll in kindergarten in the Middletown School District. It's free also, and in fact, when your child is screened, if it's deemed necessary, they are allowed to enter a program where they can go for 2 years. So it was mentioned here that there was a lottery and cost money, and neither one of those is accurate. The second thing I just wanted to say is graduation is this Friday night at 6 o'clock at the high school stadium complex. Congratulations to everybody who is graduating, and just everyone be aware that there are going to be more people out and about that night, and keep an eye open for anyone who may be walking and cutting through roads and things like that, more near that area, because there's going to be a lot of people there. So, thank you.
Alderman Kleiner.
Thank you. I want to thank Alderman Massey for bringing up the point about our public hearings. When we have them, they're for the public to come and give their input, and if the public's interested in hearing our discussion with the applicants, the planning meetings are posted on the website. You can find out when they are. You can come. They're public meetings, and we welcome more people to come and take part. Our Safe Summer Initiative for the 2nd Ward will be June 28th at the YMCA from 5 to 7:30 p.m., so I hope a lot of people will come out to that. This past Saturday, I want to thank the Lions Club and the Rec Department for the fishing derby. They had a great turnout, and a lot of kids with lots of trophies and smiling faces. And then it was Kids Day at Thrall Park, and the different agencies that turned out for that, and the police department did a great job, and it was, to see that many families out, it's always a great thing. Next Saturday will be the Latino Festival at Thrall Park. That will be a little older crowd, I believe. I want to thank Rich Girton for presenting us with the new downtown mixed-use zoning. So our moratorium should end on time. I think that's really a good thing, and We'll be scheduling, hopefully be scheduling a public hearing for that tonight. I think the retirees, these are hard guys to replace. Lieutenant Matakis, I mean, the kind of experience and professionalism he's brought to his job, it's not going to be easy. Doug Hendrickson, having a deputy commissioner, that's a tough job too. I'm not going to slam Jacob for that. I know a lot of people like working with Jacob, so we'll leave it at that. And for Ben Bruning, he's been amazing at keeping the wastewater plant going. Sometimes patching it together, and since it's been upgraded at really, he's just such a dependable guy, but maybe he can spend more time in the Little League now. So I wish them all well. I want to take just 1 minute because I get so many questions on this, on the noise ordinance in Middletown. And people ask in terms of construction and when people can start working. And you can find this on the website under our city code, under unreasonable noise, section 332-2, subsection B. Number 5 is about any kind of building or excavation, demolition, any alteration, et cetera, only between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m., except in a case of public safety and emergency situations. So if it's before 7 a.m. or after 9 p.m., it's in violation of the ordinance. And the operation on section 6 of any power equipment in a residential zone outdoors is allowed between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. and on weekends between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. So anytime earlier than that or anytime later than that, if you have power equipment, you can call and you can report it. It's not allowed. And then quickly, I also want to thank the Village of Chester Police, the State Police, and the FBI. I did go to the service for Mr. Santiago and the Luna brothers. There was an earlier one for Mr. Gutierrez, but there was some just really excellent police work to find those victims and to hopefully find the people who were accused of doing it. So I thank them for that. We never take that for granted. And so then I see everybody, I hope. The Saturday, I will repeat it, Jacob. Electronics drop-off day, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And last year, we just had a mountain of TVs and monitors and such. So there's been a real need for it, so I hope people don't miss it. Then I'll say I hope to see everybody at the Stars and Stripes Festival. And very quickly, I never comment on what goes on nationally, but putting health care in the hands of 13 men behind closed doors in secret is a really, really bad idea for public government. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Sid.
Hello, good evening. I want to start off with congratulating our retirees. Congratulations. Congratulations, because now you guys get to stay home and just hang out. In regards to yesterday and the last day before that, the water damage, I want to thank the residents from Wilson Street for coming together and expressing their concerns in a peaceful manner and listening and being patient to what the plans are going to be and the process that it's going to take to get done. To keep it short as well, just want to remind our constituents from the 4th Ward, Jude and I will be holding it on Saturday, July 1st at 10 a.m. here, so you guys are more than welcome to come. Thank you.
New business.
We have a resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey to accept a donation of $1,000 from Mrs. Linda Yannick, the widow of a retired police officer, Mitch Yannick, to help fund our 2nd annual Families in Need adoption program.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, second by Alderman Burr. Any discussion? Alderman Massey.
Yeah, I just want to say I knew Mitch very well. It was a good friend of mine. I used to spend a lot of time with him, and I certainly thank Linda and the Yannick family for this donation.
Alderman Burr.
I would also like to thank Yannick family for this donation. I grew up right down the street from them, and we appreciate their donation and wish them the best. Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Bless you.
We have a resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, resolution to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with CDM for an economic analysis for the replacement of LED lights for the existing street lights in the city of Middletown.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Byrd, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. We have a resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, resolution to authorize the treasurer to transfer a total of $5,000 within the Recreation and Parks Department 2017 budget for park improvements.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Byrd, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. We have a resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Graham Cassoon. Resolution to authorize the mayor to submit an application to the County of Orange for solutions funding and following approval to sign any and all necessary contracts on behalf of the city of Middletown.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson. Resolution to authorize the treasurer to accept a donation of $5,000 from ShopRite Supermarkets to be applied towards the Stars and Stripes celebration weekend.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Cassoon. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey. Resolution to authorize the treasurer to assign account numbers in the general ledger as per the treasurer to be approved on the capital projects in accordance with GASB.
Sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt. Resolution to authorize a change of the common council meeting from Tuesday, July 4th to Monday, July 3rd, due to the 4th of July holiday.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Sid. Resolution to amend the City Code, Chapter 460, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 460-11, through streets, stop streets, yield intersection to add one new stop street.
Sponsored by Alderman Sid, seconded by Alderman Ray Cassoon. Any discussion? Alderman Kleiner.
Yes, would you just mention which street this is that's getting this stop sign? It's not-
Highview Avenue, where the street meets Mountain Avenue.
Yes.
Thank you.
On Highview, not Mountain. Anything else?
Good idea.
Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Sid. Resolution to authorize the treasurer to transfer $83,750 from the water fund balance for engineering design services for the Shawangunk Reservoir structures.
Sid, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner. Resolution to provide a police escort to the Lady of Mount Carmel Society procession on Sunday, July 17th, commencing at 5:45 p.m.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Witt. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Sid. Resolution to transfer $2,244.21 within the 2017 operating budget of the Middletown Recreation and Parks budget to cover cost of 2 vehicles approved in the 2017 capital budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Sid, seconded by Alderman Burr. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey. Resolution to accept donations in the amount of $1,250 in support of the Neighborhood Watch Program.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Rankine-Sum. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr. Resolution to transfer a total of $4,000 within the 2017 operating budget of the Middletown Recreation and Parks Department to go towards payment of emergency repairs to Parks Department's garbage truck.
Sponsored by Alderman Burr, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson. Resolution for the approval of a negative declaration under SECRA and Common Council as lead agency for 12 Washington Street, office and apartments during the bid moratorium.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, resolution for the approval of 12 Washington Street, office and apartments during the bid moratorium.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Rankine-Sum. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, resolution for the approval of physical therapy and wellness practice at 63-67 North Street during the bid moratorium.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Rankine-Sum. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, resolution for the approval ice cream shop with food for 42 West Main Street during the bid moratorium.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Rankine-Sum. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
That wasn't me. I'd like to make a motion from the floor.
Hurry up.
In a hurry? I'd like to quickly make a motion from the floor for a public hearing on July 3rd for the new downtown mixed-use zoning district.
Motion by Alderman Rankine-Sum, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion quickly.
Alderman Massey.
A motion to authorize the mayor to sign the cost-sharing agreement with Orange and Rockland.
By Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Burr. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Anyone else? Audit.
Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Burr. Roll.
Graham Cassoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Sid.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
So
Move
moved.
for adjournment.
So moved.